It's not fun to play against somebody who goes like a fucking like hard mode Kovacs bot. His suggestion is like, oh look, it's Black Panther. Oh, you died to that? Skill issue. Should have shot him. That's the Black Panther he wants you to do. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Alright, so, as you guys know, I am not a big proponent. I'm not a big enjoyer or lover of the Black P. Personally, not for me. If you love the big Black P, like, that's all good. You can enjoy that. But personally, just is not that fun for me to play as or against. You guys know that I don't like the guy, and I think he's very easy to play and get value of, and he just feels really cheesy to die to. There's been recently a nerf to Black Panther where he now in season 4, like I believe you have like 25 less health, so he went from about 300 to 275, and he gets less health or bonus health from his dash. Additionally, he gets a super overpowered team up with Hulk, so now he just absolutely kills. Like basically, if he dips under, I believe, 100 health, he automatically gets a gamma shield that, you know, makes him unstunnable. It cleanses stuns and basically makes him unkillable for a small duration, which is pretty damn broken. And I think that's a unfixable problem, pretty much, like the whole Black Panther situation. It's just fucked up. But Carcat, who I don't know exactly who this guy is, but he's apparently like a Black Panther main. He made a long video talking about how to fix Black Panther in Marvel Rivals. And seeing as this feels like an unfixable problem, personally, I would say that the fix is to just delete the guy, declaw the kitty, send him to like the vault or something, and figure him out in like 10 seasons or something. That would be my fix, just delete the hero. But obviously that's not a solution, so let's take a look at what Carcat has to say.
Long time coming. As we enter into season 4 of Marvel Rivals with our 6th consecutive Black Panther nerf, a new team up, and still lots of conversation about how overpowered, terrible, toxic, or just plain annoying the hero is. I thought it was about time I get down on paper and then into a video my thoughts on the character, his history, the current state he's in, and how I would fix him. If you hate Black Panther, please hear me out, because believe it or not, I'm on your side. Real quick, before we do that, just wanted to thank today's sponsor. It's hard to know where to start, so let's just start at the beginning. Season 0. The game launches. Panther is one of the most exciting, fast-paced, borderline euphoric characters to play. Players are hitting insane clips left and right. Everyone wants to be rank 1 Panther. I actually hit rank 1 Panther unironically, and life is good. This was Panther at his peak. The sky was the limit, there was endless room to improve and optimize, and we were all just generally high on the launch of the next big game. Season 1.
Dude, like, just watching these clips makes me feel sick. This is so gross to watch. Yeah, the hero feels euphoric to play because he's overpowered. Like, dude, there's no hero that can do that, what he just did that easily.
One drops, and with it, Mr. Fantastic,
Jesus.
Invisible Woman, and
but I want to hear what he has to say.
First Panther nerf. He would generate 10 less shield on dash reset, and his max shield generation was reduced by 45. A pretty significant hit to his survivability, and at the time it felt kind of random, almost like it came out of nowhere. Black Panther was far from dominating every lobby, largely overshadowed by Hela and Hawkeye at the time, who were consistent server admins. That being said, it didn't change his gameplay that much, just made him marginally more difficult, and life went on. What we didn't know at the time, though, was that the game's first hero release would mark the most diabolical series of character additions I've ever seen. I'm talking about Season 1.5, Human Torch and the Thing, Season 2, Emma Frost, Season 2.5, Ultron, Season 3, Phoenix. 7 heroes over the course of 7 months, every single one either a direct or soft counter to dive, and Black Panther by extension. I mean, look at this. You got Pop-Tart mini tank soft counter you can't kill, soft counter support with mobility and displacement, flyer you can't kill, the Thing.
Just delete the hero. Like, I'll be honest, man. I'm gonna hear him out, but just delete the hero. Like, that's, I feel like his entire point is just, whatever his point is gonna be, I feel like is overshadowed by the fact that we're literally watching this guy do 3 abilities and killing everyone. Like, I don't even know, man.
Triple support, and stronger Hela with one of the best stuns in the game.
This B-roll is actually gross. It makes sense he would use his own B-roll, but oh my god, it is hard to watch.
Now you might be thinking, well, Carcat, surely after adding so many characters that counteract dive, they'd show our King of Wakanda some love, right? I mean, we're here in Season 2, Season 2.5, and with all these changes, Panther is feeling the worst he's ever felt. I'm getting CC'd for 10 years every single time I engage. Nope. Radio silence on Black Panther.
Much better
It
footage.
seemed like every other
Much better footage. I want to see that more.
their character was getting paragraphs and paragraphs of changes, and usually buffs at that. And if that wasn't enough, many of you know that it wasn't just anti-dive being added to the game. Black Panther was also suffering from one of the worst bugs of all time, the no-reg. A classic problem in any multiplayer game. exacerbated by netcode issues and Panther being fast and melee based. No regs are when your game shows you every indication that you hit your target, but you actually didn't. It had been around since the game's launch.
But he missed it.
Been around since the game's launch, and while there was a silly and dumb group of people who often claimed it didn't exist and was just a skill issue, it very much did exist and happened all the time. So,
Wait, I'm sure they just maybe not a good example, that one. I'm sure no regs happened. I get no regs all the time. Moon Knight has like crazy no regs right now.
Panther was a niche pick that not many people had big issues with, though players below a certain rank always tended to struggle. That was until at some point, under the radar, in the middle of July, they fixed no regs. The missing dashes
And I'm
that
not happy
hit,
until he is.
it finally rectified.
But I want to hear what he has to say.
Bug plaguing our gameplay fixed, and that's when it all changed. Suddenly, without any actual balance changes to Panther, his pick rate skyrocketed. He was played in pro tournaments. He became a focal point for complaints about the game's balance. Then, after 7 months of no
What's funny is I've been saying Black Panther has been a problem. Like, this guy's telling one story, but I've been saying Black Panther has been a problem since the game came out. Like, I've been saying this the whole time, and nobody listened to me. Yeah, this is like the common consensus or whatever. Like, sure, public consensus. Sure, the zeitgeist, if you may. But I've been saying this since way before he became like a problem. I felt vindicated.
Documented changes, the nerfs started coming in. Dash cooldown increase, louder footsteps, which I personally think are weighted in the hardest, more survivability nerfs to his generated shield and max health, and even a dash trail added to make him easier to track, a change they didn't even bother putting in any patch notes.
The weird thing with the dash trail is I feel like it makes no difference whatsoever.
Summarize, they spent every season adding strong...
Just wait until people realize Psylocke is as big of a problem as Panther. I don't think they will, because Psylocke actually requires aim. Like, I'm a hot take, I guess. Don't come at me, right? But Psylocke just needs way better positioning, timing, and aim, and just mechanics over Black Panther. Even if the average player realizes that, oh, this hero is very easy, or this hero is very strong, the difference is that Black Panther is super easy to get value on compared to Psylocke. Psylocke is just so much more difficult. You need a lot of baseline skills to play her. First time I played her, I got tons of value. I didn't know the combos or anything, because I know how the game works. But if you're like a silver player, you're not going to get value from her. BP, like you can pretty much just pick him up and then dash and E, and you're going to get kills. Magic is not, like, I don't play her myself. I haven't gotten value from her because I don't know how to play her. I'm not a melee guy. But Magic, I think, yeah, Magic and BP are sort of like in the same wheelhouse of heroes. Absolutely. It's because they don't really require much aim compared to actual aim heroes. I think, yeah, clicked out. Here we go.
Stronger and stronger counters to dive, and then continuously nerfed one of the only characters in the game whose only option is diving, the other being Spider-Man. Every other character who can dive can also brawl. And here's the problem.
Good point.
They didn't fix the problem. The complaints didn't stop after the first Black Panther nerf. They didn't stop after the third, and they won't stop after the 5th and 6th make their way into the game this season. And it's all because they targeted the wrong aspect of the character with every single nerf, his survivability, when the actual reason people call his design toxic is his fucking damage, his time to kill. He has 2 modes, the tickle monster where you dash around and all your damage gets out healed, and the insta-kill, you blink and you're dead, unreactable slop. It's the reason you can do stuff like this, and this, and this. So it's all the same game, by the way. So as we transition out of talking about the history of the character and into how to fix him, that's what we'll be focusing on. Let's get into what I'll egotistically call the Carcat rework.
Alright, let's hear him out.
I mean, come on, everyone has a combo named after them. The Chasm combo, the Haunt combo, the fucking Slush combo, rest in peace. I need this. The core principle is trading in Black Panther's damage, and in return, increasing his uptime. At a baseline, this fixes 2 important issues. Low time to kill that people call toxic, and the low uptime that Black Panther players hate dealing with. No one wants to go AFK for 10 seconds or instantly die just
Well, I mean, that's kind of how dive works.
because they missed one ability. Not a single other character has to deal with this. Even Spider-Man, who can also only dive, has insane survivability. I mean, have you ever tried to hit a good Spider-Man? Then, to compensate for the increased uptime, which means more time exposed to potentially getting interrupted and killed, you also have to give him back some of the survivability that was taken away. But don't be scared off by this if you're not a Panther player. We're talking about reverting to close to his Season 0 survivability, but completely taking away his ability to one-shot. And if you're a Panther player, hear me out on this as well. Ask yourself, when do you have the most fun playing Panther? My guess is it's not when you use 2 spears, 2 dashes, get 1 kill, and then go AFK and hope your team wins the fight. It's probably when you spear multiple people, dash a bunch of times, and get to zip around the fight applying lots of pressure. When I say dialing back his damage,
Dude, that's the part I hate the most with Panther. Like, the one shot is really annoying because I can't do anything on the unreactables, but dude, when we play against a good Panther and they dash like 10 times in a fight, he's just like fucking dashing around like this. That's just, and I'm just watching my teammates die one by one. and there's nothing I can do. That's the part I don't like. That's what I have a problem with personally. So we're gonna hear him out fully, but so if you also have a problem with him zipping around like a fucking Psy ultimate, actually faster, right? It will be, with this proposed change, that will be all it is. If you play Black Panther, you're gonna be like blah, 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 all the time. Probably be exhausting to play, but I guess they would like it. He would like it, but like the ones trying to counter him would not have a good time.
And increasing his uptime, what I'm really suggesting is we index completely into what makes him the most fun to play, while also making him a lot more interactable for the people who have to play against him. It's a win-win. Again, more uptime equals more opportunity for supports and tanks to deal with him. No more dying in the blink of an eye. This design change also gives his passive more of a reason to exist, an ability that has always felt out of place and low-key useless. Because the more you dash, the more shield you build, allowing you opportunities to take advantage of the damage boost that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Now that we've covered the overall concept, we can start talking about how to actually accomplish this.
Like, what do you guys think about his idea? Because that's what I think.
It's important to note that I'm not going to be suggesting specific number changes. The reason is that requires a really important ingredient to any balance change, playtesting. What I'm going to suggest are a bunch of ideas on which knobs to turn. And unless NetEase wants to employ me to start implementing this, please, it'll be up to them to figure out what numbers they should type into Unreal Engine. First, decreasing his damage. The most obvious number to decrease is his dash damage. The idea here is we're looking to increase the amount of dashes he can do, so we decrease the damage to compensate. You could theoretically touch his spear damage as well, especially considering some ideas we'll talk about in a bit, but dash is the main contributor to his damage, so it makes the most sense to adjust. Next, increasing his uptime. This is the real bread and butter of the rework. There are so many ways you can increase his uptime, but here are my favorite ones. It's also worth noting, I don't think he needs all of the suggestions I'm about to make, though it would be nice. I'm just throwing everything out there. The first is the most obvious, reduce his dash cooldown. I know this sounds scary, but with decreased dash damage and a philosophy of avoiding forcing the player to go AFK, this is key. If Panther misses the dash, it should not end his contribution to a given fight. Just like
I want to hear what else he has to say. I just want to add that also to the point we said previously, if you make Panther, just basically, what he's suggesting is a Panther that's perma-dashing all the time. That's all he's doing. He stays alive and he just dashes and is like an annoying mosquito. Like, that damage sneaks up on you, but it's very annoying to play against, and there's still no counterplay because he moves too fast.
It doesn't for any other character. He should have some possibility of getting it back before his whole team dies fighting 5v6. I know I said I wouldn't suggest numbers, but something like 6 seconds would be totally fine here. Plenty of time to counter him when he misses, without being exaggerated to the point of going comically AFK like it is now at 10 seconds. At the very least, bring it back to 8, because 10 is ridiculous.
Well, 10 exists because of other cooldowns in the game. Because if you make it, so the thing is, if you make, so what he suggested here, and he didn't even mention it, maybe he'll bring it up later, is that one of the reasons we got 10 second is because of, for example, Thing, I forgot what his cooldown is around that length. If you make the cooldown too short, what ends up happening is you can go in as a BP, you bait out the abilities to counter you, if that's the stuns, if that's the Thing, like Earthbound or whatever, and then, since you get a new dash 6 seconds later, as he suggests, then you can just go right back in, and now you have no counters, so you can just like dash all over the place. Yeah, so far it really feels like he just wants to make the hero fun to play, but not fun to play against. Because it's not fun to play against somebody who goes like a fucking like hard mode Kovacs bot. Like, his suggestion is like, oh look, it's Black Panther. Oh, you died to that? Skill issue. Should have shot him. That's the Black Panther he wants you to do. Like... What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Second, decreasing the amount of things that can randomly interrupt dash or prevent you from getting your reset. Don't get me wrong, if someone freezes me or sleeps me or uses some other hard CC on me mid-dash, I totally support it. But something like Iron Fist Punch or Kick, Groot Melee, Moon Knight Onk, goofy stuff like that should not be interrupting me dashing at Mach 10. Then there's the thing.
I low-key don't hate that idea though. I think like there's probably small quality of life changes you can make to make it feel better. That's just like a small, that's like what, soft disruption, I guess we call that.
Things you can't reset off of that make no sense. When I dash a dodging Star-Lord or a portaling Magic,
I think, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting him again. It's my video now. We're doing my video, not his video. I like where Spider-Man is at. He requires more skill to play. He can have a pretty high impact, and there's like counter to it. Because Spider-Man does his whole combo, but he moves in like a predictable trajectory. So you can actually counter him and shoot him back or react with CC or anything. BP just feels like you're doing a shot in the dark trying to catch him sometimes. It's very difficult to actually hit.
Reset, but not a pop.
Because I really don't want to play the hero.
Fantastic. When my Hulk exiles an enemy that's marked, I don't get a reset either. Why? You may think these are just small edge cases.
But yeah, these are like quality of life things. I think it's extremely valid to bring it up because if for nothing else, just making sure that the heroes perform consistently and work again consistently makes sense. However, I feel like the exile is a bit of a weird one because I think this applies to any stack heroes. So yeah, give it to Spider-Man too, but like the point of an exile is that a hero is completely out of the game. So giving you a reset on that is like, I know it's like, you know, I can see it messing up your play, but what do you, I don't know what the best way to fix this is, because if you let stacks proc off of exile targets, oh man, you're opening a can of worms you don't want to open. You're gonna have Phoenix with her stacks on exile targets, like spamming that shit like a Loki clone. You're gonna have, again, Spider-Man, I guess. I guess BP needs his stacks more, but this needs to be consistent across the whole hero roster. It's a change to exile more than anything.
But they happen fairly often and are super annoying. Then there's the one that's not an edge case. It happens all the time and is one of the worst experiences playing this character. You mark someone, you're about to dash them to secure the kill, and your teammate kills them instead. Now, rather than chaining that dash kill into more momentum and more pressure and being rewarded for your execution, you genuinely get cucked and have to sit there for 10 seconds and hope your team can do the rest.
Again, very valid complaint. I don't agree with his fix, but these are quality of life changes. Like, could be with the exiled one. I don't necessarily agree with this one. I think so. What's his face? Winter Soldier has a thing. If you ult somebody, we would secure the kill, but then your teammates kill him before you land, you still get the kill. So you probably just need that same grace window somehow. I don't know how that would make it where it makes sense, but it would basically have to be like, oh yeah, if you dash them and then they die after, then that's okay. But we're talking like 100, 200 millisecond window. I don't know how long the window is. It's like it does nothing for the problem of BP single-handedly forcing your whole team to play entirely different just because in the game. Yeah, so far I have not seen, but maybe this later here. So far he's just said we're gonna hear him out. I'm still hearing him out. I'm just hearing hero bad.
You could fix this by simply giving Panther his
I'm sure
reset.
it seems pretty well thought out, so I'm sure will provide that later on.
If someone dies while marked. But an idea I heard that I like even more is when someone dies to your teammate while marked, they leave a brief after image like Hawkeye's ult that you can dash to get your reset. That immediately fixes this problem, full stop. Finally,
I don't like that at all. That's terrible. Especially when you combine with the other change you had in mind. I think just do what I said. If they die when you dash them, then you get the reset, even if you don't get the kill. If they die, like, just because you shouldn't get the kill just because somebody else gets the last hit. Like, hit your dashes, I guess. I don't fucking know. Right? Dash faster.
the last big idea I like for increasing his uptime while simultaneously increasing skill expression is giving Panther some mechanism to reduce his spear cooldown. Spear is the key ability that enables his entire playstyle, and giving him cooldown reduction every time he melees an enemy, for example, would reward execution in a really satisfying way, while matching the design philosophy behind characters like Iron Fist, Namor, and now Magic with a recent change.
This is not a bad point. I don't think realistically this will make like a big difference. At that point, you would just lower the cooldown effectively. Because PPs are still just going to stand in the corner and stare at people. Like, you're really only going to be meleeing. I mean, I guess when you couple it with all the other changes, like he wants to make it like, he wants to turn BP into like an off tank sort of deal with like a crazy movement ability. Like Iron Fist with like perma-dash every second. Like, so far I'm imagining an actual raid boss BP. I don't see how this would be healthy for the game whatsoever, personally, but...
Some wildcard changes that would be amazing too, and fall in line with this. First, easy peasy, get rid of his
I guess he's not saying do all of it at the same time, but if you would do all of it at the same time, like, you would have an unkillable BP who dashes all the time or every 6 seconds. He's a BP main, bro. He wants him giga buffed. I mean, obviously, but...
No cooldown. It's really stupid, should never have existed. Second, let Panther animation cancel spinning kick with dash. I'm not kidding when I say this change would make him one of the sauciest characters ever conceived. And
I want to hear that again. That sounds so scary. It's so funny to me, like the difference in perspective here, because he goes, this would make him the sauciest hero ever, right? Let's give BP a gun, dude. Right? Like, that's what it sounds like. He's like, yeah, I play BP. I'm a BP main. This will make him the best hero ever. It will be really good. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here as a non-BP main, and I'm like, bro, you're literally... You want BP to get a nuke ability. He just wants it buffed. It's just like, guys, BP would be a lot better if he could just instantly kill the enemy team by clicking a button, guys.
Should never have existed. Second, let Panther animation cancel spinning kick with dash. I'm not...
So I assume he means, when he says animation cancel, it means you can cut off the E I think there's like a small window in between before you can do them. That could be it, or it means you can cancel the E with your dash. I'm not
Hitting when I say
sure.
this change would make him one of the sauciest characters ever conceived. And despite the potential burst damage, the mechanical execution and
like he didn't really explain fully. Maybe he'll get to it, but didn't really explain how either of those two. Like I'm not. That'd be really difficult to play against.
Increased dash damage would keep it balanced enough. So that's a lot of changes focused on letting Panther dash more often and reducing the amount of nonsense he has to deal with. And again, it sounds spooky right now because we're thinking about dash's current damage. That's why you compensate by decreasing dash damage by a certain amount you determine through playtesting. So let's talk about why this rework.
So yeah, I like that. I like that he does acknowledge that. It does sound very scary. But it's not, I don't know, man. I think the damage numbers are crazy right now, but it's not even the damage numbers that scare me, man. It's just having to deal with the fucking mosquito level BP.
It's healthier for the overall game, and then wrap this up.
Okay, so why is this healthier?
Panther's win rate across the different ranks in Season 3.5.
Okay.
For some perspective, you generally want a hero to hover somewhere around 50%. It doesn't have to be exactly 50 for a hero to be balanced, but it shouldn't be higher than like 55% max.
Yeah, I agree. 50% in most games is what it should be, which is why it's weird that Penny Parker has a 60% win rate, Magic is a 55% win rate. Oh, let's go for Season 4 Diamond Plus, because we have a new season and people. This is basically Celestial Diamond Plus. 62% win rate. Mandatus has a 60% win rate. Magic at 55. Jeff 54% win rate. I'm surprised it's 46 this season.
What you see is a staggering 59% win rate at the lowest ranks, tapering down until you get to about 50% at the highest ranks. Star-Lord is the hero I play most often when Black Panther is banned, and this is what his graph looks like by comparison. In the current meta, he's what I would consider the golden standard for hero balance across the ranks, alongside characters like Magneto. What does that tell us? Panther's current design is fine when you're playing in the top 1% of players, but he absolutely stomps in low elo. So how does the rework address this? His damage output and time to kill is the only reason he's so strong in ranks like bronze, silver, and gold.
No, if you made your exact, if you did your exact suggestion, he would be just as overpowered. If you make him like I guess more brawlish, where you can use dash around more, he would be just as broken. Because people can hit one dash. Not gonna hit 10 of them. I'm exaggerating to prove my point.
His survivability. Conversely, his low uptime and counterability is why he's not nearly as strong in Celestial and above. If you haven't played Black Panther at this rank, you're just gonna have to trust me, bro. Once they counterswap, he becomes genuinely unplayable. His win rate is only as high as 50% because Panther players at that rank know when to swap. You can't one-trick this character to top 500 the way you can on almost any other character in the game. Now, when we decrease damage but increase uptime, giving him tools to actually participate more in the match, what ends up happening is you lower the degree to which he'll stomp in low ranks, but
I really don't think that's true. Like, I think, what, insta pick potential, that's good in higher rank because one pick is that valuable, but in low rank, I feel like you're just gonna be fine either way. Right? Like, he's good in low ranks because he doesn't require aim and he has movement that outskills opponent aim and teamwork ability.
His viability in high ranks. That's because good Panther players will be able to take advantage of the extra tools, the significant boost to his skill expression, and the quality of life, while more beginner and intermediate players will not. I see so many people say that Black Panther is brain dead easy to get value with, and it's a little tilting.
I say that.
Because they usually have no idea how hard he is in high elo. But I also get it, because in low elo, it really is just timing a spear dash well, and that's it. This rework fixes that by making it more mechanically expensive to get value, since each individual dash does that much less. It also gives players more of a chance to actually deal with the Panther, because instead of getting one shot in half a second before you can react, he'll have to stick around for a while. And
I'd say what if you would think about what he's saying is like you take the damage away from him, but make him more consistent, right? Like that's the overall idea. Again, you're gonna have Black Panther just zooming all over the place, being super annoying to kill, but he will be more consistent. You lower the burst, but make him a more consistent hero across the board.
Even though he'll be theoretically dashing a lot, the trail helps you track him, and he still has to execute.
The trail does not help you track him. The trail does not. I'm sorry, that's bad faith as hell. It does not help you track him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just bad at the game. I don't feel like it made us any difference whatsoever.
Well, to stay mobile. The disclaimer, this rework will not fix Black Panther Smurfs dominating lobbies. But
that is also true.
He cannot and should not balance based on what Smurfs can do. Smurf on any character will run a lobby. And
it is also true.
That's the whole rework, give or take. Certainly more you can do to this character. If you have good ideas, drop them in the comments. But I truly think this would fix the hero and make him more balanced, more fun to play, and more manageable to play against at every rank. If you disagree with anything, let me know too. At the end of the day, balancing is a marathon and it's about experimentation. This video is just a culmination of dedicating hundreds of hours of my life to this character and wanting the best for him in this game. I just want to dash, man. That's all I want. I have no clue if a dev will ever see this, but Necros told them to add a trail and they did it almost instantly without even a formal patch. So clearly they're open to good ideas. These are my Ideas. Hope you like them.
I don't. What are we thinking, chat? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? I think the premise of this video comes from like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like it comes from a big lack of understanding how anyone else plays the game against the Black Panther. That's kind of what it feels like. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I feel like it was weird to listen to because I almost feel like we're playing two different games. We have two different realities. It really feels like all the Black Panther cope I've seen forever. Yeah, well, actually, there's a thing in the game, so I can't dash wildly. Yes, that's a counter swap. Every hero has those. All heroes have counter swaps. What do you want me to do?